Obviously excited to get out of here with a W. We had to, massage our depth. We had a lot of guys go down, a couple guys in the first half, a couple guys coming out of the half. Give a lot of credit to our coaches to bounce those guys back, have new players step into roles. I thought coming into this game, I knew it was going to be a battle. They had obviously done some good things. The game against Clemson kind of got sideways in a hurry. They had a pick six early, had a failed punt. They gave them the ball in the red zone. So it was a kind of a different game. I saw them battle out with Ohio U. That team beat Iowa State last week, so we knew Ohio U was a good player, a good team. I've known Tom for a long time, his staff. He's got a great staff. So give a lot of credit to them, but I do like the perseverance. I think the story of the day by far was our defense, especially in the red area, just to have those 8 plays in a row. We'd stop them 4 plays. We give the ball immediately away on a turnover, which obviously is not tolerated, can't be handled. We just got to put ourselves in a better situation. But our defense go back out there and 4 plays in a row, stop it, was just give credit to Aaron and that defensive staff. I think we were down to our 6th or 7th corner. Taz basically came out at half, couldn't go anymore, so that took Taz out, our best cover corner, and put T-Strain in the premier spot. Obviously, when he gets rolled up, Xavier Scott drew a tough assignment. He was on number 1 literally the whole day. Sometimes he had help, sometimes he didn't have help. It was a really gutsy performance by him. That kid can really play. He was a great player coming in the game. We did a lot of things to try and take him out of the game, but obviously, good player, didn't get denied enough. Thought our pass rush came alive a little bit more today. We did a lot more change up. We got to do a little bit better job of, at the end of game scenarios, getting some fresh bodies out there. Obviously, the way our offense ran that last drive to grind out 4 minutes there, and then just the awareness of Caden Fagan. We talk about that all the time, but I know we practiced that in fall camp. We talk about it, but it was practiced with Reggie Love, Josh McCray, and maybe one of the freshmen, might have been Jordan Anderson, because it might have been before he was hurt, for him to break through that line. And Thad had coached him up on that. We called that grind to get down, because we now have won the game rather than running the end zone. And I got to believe a big man from Arthur really wanted to get in that end zone, especially after you saw Aiden Lawford get in. So to have him have the awareness to get down and win the game was just awesome. We could have easily put another touchdown on board, and everybody talks about style points, whatever. I just think this team loves to win, and for us to be at 2-2 where we are now, headed into conference play, it's obviously I'd love to be 4-0, but to be 2-2 with the amount of players that we've had play, the amount of adversity we've had at certain positions has been good. And then I also give Barry Lundy a lot of credit for what he did with Luke. I mean, Luke had a really good week of practice. I thought our players did a really good job of supporting him. Last week at this time, I waited till about 8 o'clock that night to give him a buzz and wanted him to know that I was behind him. And we didn't even have to talk about as a staff, as a head coach. I knew what I wanted to do and what we were going to do. And he responded really well today, made a couple plays with his feet, and some really good design plays, shot plays that were big for us in the first half. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
Coach, you stuck with the running game and eventually got something going there. What do you think the difference was between the 2 halves?
Production. Guys were able to move the chains, advance it. We preached all week about finding identity on offense, and I think we've kind of found that now and know what Luke's skill set is. I give a lot of credit to Reggie and Josh. Both of them ran extremely hard, but I grabbed Aiden Lawfrey. We'd put in a series with him the last 2 weeks, really the last 3 weeks. Kansas, we didn't get it in the game, and then last week we introed it, and then this week when he was in pregame warmups, he came running through. We do those 4 plays of offense, defense, and I always grab the running back that's running through on that play. And I grabbed him. I said, "You're not going to only play today. You're going to get your first touchdown today." And to have that materialize right in front of us and have him get that opportunity, I think it's a lot of football you're going to see out of 21 and number 3. Those are 2 really good freshmen.
You mentioned getting down to your 6th or 7th quarterback. I mean, this was the first time Zach Toby's probably played that much. What did you see from him in that kind of role?
Yeah, I thought, Aaron and Antonio, both of them guys that I've been around a long time. I know they teach well. We've been really excited about the length of that group. Sabor Kareem came in there and did some nice stuff. Really almost had a chance to have a career pick down there in the red area. But Zach Toby, Kareem, Jaheim, those guys all have gotten better every week in practice. Sabor had been going against our number 1 offense, and we kept saying, hey, we got to get this guy on the field. So fun to see that. I think Taz and T-Strain will be back by Tuesday. I don't think they're going to be out anything long, so to have those guys play, but really excited for Zach. Zach's just kind of I think if you interview him, I think he's going to be interviewed. Do we pull Zach? He's a really fun kid. He's pretty dry. Not really much rattles him as a corner. He's kind of a unique personality. He's kind of an introverted, and he'll kind of self-admit that, just kind of kind of handles his own business, and really like his demeanor. I think got a bright future for us.
Brett, obviously nothing's come easy in these first 4
Yeah.
games. Just
Yeah.
how do you feel about your team going into the meat of Big Ten?
Yeah, we lost some good players a year ago, but we lost some good voices. Obviously the draft takes guys all the time, but sometimes those voices in critical moments, those leadership things are things that only get tested through fire, right? And I've heard more guys talk this week. I heard Isaiah Adams talk. I heard some of the defensive guys that weren't guys that spoke in the past speak up and say things. Have a couple guys get chesty with each other on the sideline today, which is good, right? I think anytime you have people that are pushing each other, iron sharpens iron, and I think that's a positive thing. But I like where this group is at. I thought our special teams, David Alano, you guys have seen his leg a little bit, but he's got a big leg, and to come in and have that kickoff responsibility was huge. Caleb obviously struggled with the one PAT, but went back right with him on that field goal, and that was good to see him hit that one. But I think we got a lot of depth. I don't know if anything's going to be pretty with this crew, but I think they're going to play tough, gritty football. There was a couple, some fouls that went against us. We got to clean up and get on top of it. But I thought they played a pretty clean game.
You talked a lot about Reggie Love. You believed he was eventually going to hit one. Hit one for 61 today, and what can that do for him going forward?
Well, I think it would have been even bigger if he hadn't rolled that ankle. But he
Sure.
he just played possessed. I think in practice he's been a pretty impressive kid. Like I've said before, like everybody loves him. Like he's just got an incredible personality and passion for the game, and he's literally going around. He probably was cheering for those other running backs more than anybody's ever cheered for another running back. Because I saw Josh get in it. Josh kind of came through for us big there in that last drive, and then to have Caden and Aiden both have success. I mean, he was happy for those guys.
We've heard you on the radio, Brett, say you got to protect your quarterback better.
Yeah.
What's missing there that's unable to do that?
Well, I think we just got to clean up the details, right? Like right there at the end of the half, I want to try and put 3 more on. I thought if we got to the 35-yard line, we'd try to make a 53-yard field goal, and we were within 15, 20 yards of that. We had a nice little deep dig. It was a 6-man protection, so the 5-0 lineman and a running back, and it was a 4-man pressure, and we can't give up a sack. I mean, it's just we got to anchor it down. We got to do better. If we have to change our protections and chip some guys to alleviate some issues, we got to do that. But I thought Barry and the offense staff really did a good job this week of kind of shoring up the issues that we had last week, and then obviously today some good things happened, but some other things popped up that we got to clean up.
Coach, you had Isaiah Williams go for 120 yards, ties his career high. What does that mean to the offense and just the connection he's built?
And I don't know if he played the fourth quarter. I mean, there was a point where, that when Hank went in and had that drop, that was the first play. I know that Isaiah was kind of gassed, tapped out, and I said, absolutely put Hank in there. And obviously it was a tough way to start, but our defense rose up. But Isaiah is just, all those NFL scouts, when they come in, I always say, like, listen, I get it. Like, to me, I always could say he's kind of got a little Marcus Randall, for those guys that have been in the league for a while, know who I'm talking about. Like, he's got gamesmanship to him. He's incredibly intelligent, very dynamic with the ball in his hand. That play he caught out of the midair. Now, I would also say Luke bailed high on that play, scrambled around and made some plays with his feet. So I think Isaiah really likes Luke. Luke really likes Isaiah. So that's a good chemistry. But I also think when Isaiah Williams is a young man I don't think anything like's ever been given to him. We always talk about earning it in this program, and for a kid that works the way he does and puts himself out there the way he does every day at practice, just very impressive.
Brett, can you share anything that you told Luke?
Luke Altmaier?
Yeah, what you told him after last week?
We can ask Jen. She was sitting next to me when I called Luke last Saturday. I just basically, I didn't want him to go to bed Saturday night worried about whether or not he was starting quarterback, right? So I didn't talk to Barry much after the game. I just sat there and I put my daughters to bed, and I was sitting there watching a little college football that night, and I had reviewed the film, and I'd known what I'd learned about him in the first couple games, and I didn't want him to put his head down that night thinking, where am I at with my coaches, but more importantly me as a head coach. I told him in recruiting, I said I think last week, like when quarterbacks have issues, it's my responsibility. That's on me, right? Like quarterbacks and head coaches get way too much credit when it goes well and way too much blame. But I'm a big boy. I can take care of that. That's what I'm paid to do. And I just told him we'll have a better plan for you. I thought him and Barry have a really good relationship. In addition to him, John Paddock, like John, I remember I asked Tank on Wednesday. I said they had a lifting group with the 2 deep, and he said, Coach, John Paddock and Luke Altmaier were lifting partners. They didn't assign them. They just went and did that themselves, right? So I think that Donovan Leary every day, him and Kirkland Michau, it's the strength of that room that pretty is impressive. And the only other thing I said to Luke was, like, we are going to take these steps and learn, right? Like, early down interceptions can't be tolerated. Like, just help him learn how to play winning football. I think, you know, Tommy, I go back and forth with Tommy. I hit him up this week just because I know he's probably sitting there. He's a practice squad player, and it was after the Giants got beat last week. And I said, hey, just keep being the best you when that opportunity comes. And he shot me a text back about the appreciation of what we taught him, you know. And I think Luke's got a huge potential in this program.
Brett, Michael asked you about it on postgame radio, but Barry being on the sideline today, was that a full game deal, or was that a halftime adjustment?
No, he was out there for the first game, or from the first snap. Barry came to me on Tuesday? No, Monday? No, it was sometime Monday. He came in, and we always kind of routinely talk about, you know, we have a big staff meeting to review it on Sunday, and then I kind of leave him alone. Monday's I go through a lot of different things from meeting you guys, a lot of other outside stuff, and it was towards the end of the night on Monday night. He said, hey, you got a minute? So we met in my office. He said two things. One of them was a scheme-related play, and he goes, the other thing is I'd like to go on the sidelines. I said, done. Good. Can't wait to have you. So I did say something to Luke today. We were at a pregame meal 4 hours out from the game, and Luke was sitting there. He had his headset on, and I tapped him, and I said, you gonna be able to handle Lenny on the sidelines? And he just smiled at me, and he goes, Coach, I'm excited about it. I said, me too. So again, I think when the players feel good, that's when you feel good.
Kind of
Last question.
Kind of a long question, but I mean, the play where Beatty made the tackle preventing the scoop and score.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you practice? Because that's a play you see
Yeah.
a lot. That's like the receiver thinks it's just an incomplete pass, everybody stands, and it becomes a scoop and score.
Yeah.
But he jumped up, made the tackle, and really, you know.
You know, I don't know if you guys, the night before, we were watching the game. You know, I watched a little bit of the Purdue game, right? And there was a similar type play where they threw it to the ball bounced quarterback, right? And they didn't do anything, and those guys recovered it, right? And so we use those moments all the time. I show people all the time that, and we actually do have a day in the spring and the fall where the defensive coaches coach the offensive players, and the offensive players come down and work with the defensive coaches, right? And the wide receivers learn how to tackle and ball disruption, how to get a ball out, and then a last play, right, where they click the heel, right? So we teach those things deliberately every spring and fall. So yeah, I think that's deliberate. But Hank Beatty's just a player, right? Like, I know he came up to me right in the locker room and he goes, Coach, I'm sorry. I said, stop it, right? Like, the game's behind you. Like, we're going to go forward. He's going to make a lot more plays for us in the future than that one. He's not going to remember for that one, but go ahead.
It's been a little bit since we've seen Josh McCray have that kind of production. What's it like for you as a coach to see him get back there? What's it mean for you guys, big picture?
It's awesome. Like Josh, if you can tell, right, he's done a lot. He's devoted his body. He's done a better job of taking care of himself. And he had his annual cold last week, right? Like that takes him out for a day, and I was beating him up on that. And really from after Tuesday on, I thought Wednesday and Thursday he ran with a purpose, and today he was shrugging some guys off. So that's going to show up on film. What I told our guys today was, like, film does not lie, right? Like, what you see on film is reality, and what I wanted them to put on film today was the reality of what our opponents are going to see, right? And there was a lot of things we got to clean up, but you see a guy running like that, you know, and making some plays. You see our quarterback make plays with his feet. Those are things that should excite you about the way an opponent's got to defend us.
All right.